Welcome everybody to another episode of the SRU podcast with me and my guy Will Royal. We have a special guest here today. Our guy JP Johnson, someone we've been hinting about for the past 2 weeks. Yeah, go frogs,
Let's
go
go.
frogs.
Let's go.
So JP, how you doing today, my guy?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm sad that TCU has a bye week this week, but getting a good week's rest before we go play the old enemy in Dallas.
Yeah. I like the headset, man.
Yeah.
Looking all professional and stuff.
It's my Xbox headset.
Yeah. So JP, tell the viewers a little bit about yourself, man.
A little bit about myself. I'm from Memphis. As college sports go, I root for the Tigers. I grew up an Arkansas fan thanks to my aunt and uncle, and I now go to school at TCU. So go Frogs!
Yeah.
Kind of Frogs over everything now.
So if you watched the last podcast and watched to the end, there was a little Easter egg of JP in one of in the video towards the end of the podcast. But yeah, me and JP went to the TCU Tarleton State game. Pretty bad blowout. We left at halftime.
Yeah, we did leave at halftime.
Yeah. So yeah, I did have a great time visiting TCU, my first TCU home game.
But yeah, what did you think of the stadium?
It was real nice, honestly. My rankings for college stadiums, I would probably put them in top 5 for sure.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, I hadn't been to many college stadiums, but TCU has the brick matches their entire campus, so it's like really nice.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. Speaking of TCU,
it's cool.
Will sent me and you a TikTok about the
about the ref ram.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll go on record. Beloved TCU fan, okay? I love TCU to death. It's the worst chant in college football.
Yeah, it is.
It's time to go. It's really time to go.
Yeah, it is pretty corny. It is pretty corny. But
you give our listeners the rendition of it?
I'll chant it. I'm not gonna do any of the motions. I don't want to get screen grabbed doing that. Hey, Bryce was doing it in the stands with me though. So,
hey, yeah, I was. Just because it was kind of catchy.
I was standing still, and he was doing it right next to me. Too. It was fun. But I feel like we can come up with a better chant than riff ram bazoo, lickety lickety zoo zoo, hoo wah wah hoo, give 'em hell TCU. The give 'em hell TCU part is amazing.
Yeah.
Keep that. Get rid of all the other stuff.
Yeah. Honestly, I just want to meet the person who came up with the chant because
they're probably dead, bro.
Yeah.
Honestly, that thing came out in like the 20s.
Yeah, he was probably tripping on some type of psychedelic.
For real. Yeah.
Probably licked a horny toad.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poison of a horny toad. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get in the first game. Our first game is BYU versus Oregon. Number 12 BYU versus Oregon. And BYU had a nice game last Saturday. It's pretty close. Nail biter towards the end. Game-winning field goal after their kicker missed like 1 or 2 field goals. Their quarterback, Jaren Hall, went 23 for 39 with 261 passing yards and 1 passing touchdown. So, how did y'all feel about the BYU game last Saturday?
Like, I stayed up till about 1:15 watching that game. Obviously came out of the wire. It was like a Baylor team. Also, I'm just gonna point this out: new cut, new apartment. Let's run it.
Oh yeah. We forgot to mention that. My bad.
Nah, you good. No, but this is like a BYU team. A lot of people are hyping up about possibly being a college football playoff contender. But this is an Oregon team bouncing back from getting killed by Georgia.
Yeah.
They're now back in top 25. Bo Nix, I still not on that hype yet. Not just because well, yeah, but also because we're gonna scratch that part out.
Yeah, we're gonna skip over that.
But I was never convinced with Bo Nix, and now he's in Oregon, and I guess it's like his second real chance to prove himself. Like Oregon, he had no chance. Now he does. So I think BYU. Are we doing predictions? Or are we just kind of going?
Yeah, we can do predictions game by game.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I still think Oregon has a really good defense with Noah Sewell, so I think Oregon's gonna edge out by a field goal.
Yeah. For me, well,
My,
Bo Nix, he went 28 for 33, 277 passing yards, and 5 passing touchdowns, but it was against Eastern Washington, FCS school. So that really doesn't show much. And honestly, I don't. BYU has a tough schedule, and they've been playing well for the 2 weeks that they've played. I'm gonna go with BYU just because I need BYU to win for Arkansas's matchup against them later in the schedule. So I'm gonna go with BYU.
yeah, for me, that BYU Baylor game was, for me, with a little bit of Big 12 bias, less about BYU and more about how Baylor is really, really lacking in skill positions. Um, BYU, credit to them, they did really good. The atmosphere was electric, but they got a pretty tough test against an Oregon team that's looking to bounce back after getting just absolutely run out of the building against Georgia.
Yeah.
I find it weird that BYU isn't favored in this game. I don't know why they wouldn't be, but I think for my money, I'm picking BYU. I think that they're really good up front, and their skill positions are comparative to basically any Power Five schools, average Power Five schools skill positions. But yeah, I think I'd take BYU in this one.
Yeah. Yeah, BYU JP. I was at JP's house when we were watching this, and I was like knocked out. But
So was I.
BYU, yeah, BYU, I can I can see them being pretty good for the rest of the year. A lot of people have Arkansas losing to them when they play as a trap game because they travel to BYU.
Yeah,
So
that'll be really tough.
yeah, so BYU, I can see them ending the season probably top 15 if they have a good year like everyone expects them to have this year. But yeah, we're gonna go to the next one. Our next game is Penn State, number 22 Penn State versus Auburn. Auburn is not looking good this year. TJ Finley went 13 for 20 with 167 passing yards, 1 interception, and 1 TD, which was a rushing touchdown. And Penn State, their running back had a nice game last week with 179 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns. And Sean Clifford is looking like Sean Clifford, a dual threat QB with 19 for 27 last week, 1 touchdown passing and 1 rushing touchdown. For this game, it's simple for me. I'm gonna go Penn State just because Auburn does not look good this year, and I see them being at the bottom of the SEC and definitely losing the Iron Bowl. But we'll get to that once that comes around.
Yeah, like you said, Auburn is not looking good, and I'm loving every second of it. Last week, they were down at halftime to San Jose State, which on its own is embarrassingly bad. And,
I'm not gonna say anything about San Jose State. I have history with them, and guess what? We're not bringing that up.
Yeah. But this is a ranked Penn State team with a proven quarterback in Sean Clifford. You know, last year they came up to Happy Valley, and Penn State won, I think. Yeah, they did.
They did.
And I think it's going to happen again. I think Penn State's just going to come down to Auburn, blow them out, and put Brian on an even hotter seat. Do you think he's going to get fired right away like we saw with Scott Frost? No, unfortunately. But I think that this is going to push him more in that boundary of he's gone by the end of the year.
Yeah, this is a tough game. You know, it's going to be in an SEC environment. Is Penn State ready for that? Who knows? I think Auburn's going to kind of turn up the environment for this one. They haven't looked great, not playing well against San Jose State. I do really like Sean Clifford. I think he's a really good quarterback. But I think Penn State takes this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick for your money too.
Yeah. Brian Harsin, he's looking like Chad Morris 2.0, and you know that's not a good look at all. Just because Auburn is a historically good football team, and having a bad recruiting and bad coaching there is just not a good look. You if once you get the SEC job as big as an Auburn job, you expect to like New Year's Six Bowl, maybe even compete for a national championship. I think the Gus Malzahn firing for Auburn was not good, just because he always has a one bad year, but the next year he ends up having probably one of his better tenures at Auburn. So Brian Harsin, he's definitely will be on the hot seat if he loses this game, and probably for the rest of the year, because they don't look like they're getting any better. But our next game,
I have some inside information on Brian Harsin. Actually, funny enough, I got some good friends that live in Auburn, and just kind of in the community around there. And the wives really don't like Brian Harsin's wife, and so that could be something to look out for. They hate his daughters too. It's weird. It's weird stuff. But they're like very, very against that. And also, I feel like Auburn is like the worst job in college football to have, because like if you beat Bama, good on you, but like if you don't beat Bama, you're on the hot seat. It's the craziest thing. It's an interesting situation. I really want to start thinking about if Harsin does get fired, who takes over the position.
Yeah.
Scott Frost, please.
No way. No way.
Hey, Bill O'Brien. Switches
Hugh
over.
Freeze.
Oh yeah, Hugh Freeze. Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, thanks for the insight, because that's probably one of the funniest insights that I've heard.
I'm not going to reveal my sources here, but
Hey.
I was talking with them, and they were showing Instagram pictures of Brian Harsin's kids, and like just how disgusted they were with how they dress and such, and how unsouthern it was.
Oh, wow.
It's really funny. So the wives of the boosters might be giving them an earful about how they need to let him go.
Yeah. The thing about the Auburn job, I feel like the fans make that job a lot harder than it should be, just because of Alabama Auburn rivalry. I get it's a rivalry, but like one game shouldn't define your whole season as a coach and as a team.
Yeah. But I love the pettiness down there. Get him, honestly. As long as Auburn sucks, it's fine with me.
Hey, I don't blame you, man. I'm with that. I'm like that with a few teams. So our next game is number 13 Miami versus number 24 Texas A&M. So we have some breaking news that Texas A&M just named Max Johnson as their starting QB to replace Haynes King from last week. Haynes King went 13 for 20, 97 passing yards, 0 touchdown. And Miami's quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, went 20 for 29, 253 passing yards for 1 touchdown and 1 interception. Haynes King, 97 yards that's bad for, like, even if you're getting destroyed, like, I expect you as a quarterback to get 100 passing yards. That's literally your job, to pass the ball and distribute it.
Sunbelt.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to give App State credit. I mean, they're a really, really good team, and they've demonstrated that all the time this year.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting, though, that Texas A&M only scores 1 offensive touchdown, and you've got a team like North Carolina who scores like 60 on them. My thing is like Jimbo Fisher's offense is so boring and like just so hard to watch. I really think that gives them a ton of trouble. I mean, it's easy to run the offense when you have Jameis Winston and then a wide receiver core of all NFL talent.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy to do that when you have that, but you don't.
And let's not forget about that defense they had. They had Derwin James and Jalen Ramsey back there.
Yeah.
And Dalvin Cook.
They had a lot of solid players. But I mean, that the offense works under those circumstances. But I don't think this A&M roster is suited to do that, and so I think that gives them a lot of trouble. And I think that's why I go for Miami
Yeah,
because Mario Cristobal, with all this crypto money, is I think going to absolutely roll them over.
yeah,
And it's in Miami, if I'm not mistaken, right?
No, it's in College Station.
It's in College Station.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
Honestly, this is kind of this is a
Oh, you
trap
go ahead,
game, just because
Yeah.
Texas A&M wins the games that they're not supposed to win and lose the games
Yes.
that they are supposed to win. So
Yeah, you know, I mean, you're actually really on the spot with that. I think I might change mine to A&M just because it feels like they probably will be mad about the last one and make some change like they did with the quarterback.
yeah, but they don't have Zach Calzada to help them this year. So this one is kind of hard, but Texas A&M defense, it's all right, but Miami's offense, just Mario Cristobal's offense, he's just known for having great offensive teams, and that they've kind of shown that for the past 2 weeks. So give me the U, man. I'm gonna take the U.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, so that's on the tiebreaker here. This is an A&M team that came off being 23-point favorites and then blowing it to App State.
Yeah.
They're benching their prodigy quarterback that they're hyping up all of last year and this year, and they're bringing in an LSU transfer, Max Johnson. Given the fact that all A&M is talking about this offseason was, oh, we had a number one recruiting class, we're going to win the SEC West, we're going to beat Bama again. You lost to Appalachian State, so you're up here, you need to be down here if you're an A&M fan, and you're still talking after losing to Mountaineer. They just stole College Game Day from you. You cannot talk.
Yeah. Yes.
But so I'm agreeing with Bryce. I'm going with Miami on this one. I think Tyler Van Dyke is a far superior quarterback. I think he's going to come in and just absolutely demolish A&M secondary, and maybe Jimbo will humble himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually looking at futures on some betting sites today, and he's the leading next football coach candidate to get fired.
Jimbo?
Really?
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. But
Yeah,
if you watch the our SEC breakdown, I did say that Texas A&M, they should have a pretty decent year this year, but just because their recruiting class is number one this year, it will take probably a year or two to develop. So I expect them to be, if Jimbo makes it out this year, I expect them to be a lot better next year and probably even contend for what most people say that the playoffs. But yeah, I actually want Texas A&M to win just because it would make the Arkansas Texas A&M game bigger for next week. But if they don't and Arkansas beats Texas A&M, I'm just going to look for that College Game Day for Alabama versus Arkansas in Fayetteville.
That'd be electric.
Yeah, in week 5.
Yeah.
Well, going on with your number one recruiting class thing, I mean, we kind of see it, like, it's not to the same degree exactly, but I mean, we've all kind of seen it with Memphis basketball getting number one recruiting classes and not playing well at all.
Yeah.
So I think that genuinely might play a little bit of a part in it.
Yeah. The thing about Memphis basketball, let's not. I don't want to get too far off the topic here.
We will go into a crazy tangent.
But I can't wait. That's why I can't wait till basketball season.
Yeah.
So, but the thing about Memphis basketball, basketball is a one and done type of deal.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
So
yeah,
it's harder. It's harder to win once you only have that player for 1 year, and you kind of want to develop them for at least 3 years. So, as a Memphis kind of fan, I would love if they would have won the national championship last year, but I didn't see it happening just because they didn't have the good vets for those young guys to come in and to dominate with them. But they did have a nice run, and they did almost beat the number one overall seed in Gonzaga. So I'm gonna give it to them. But yeah, I see what you're talking about with number one recruiting classes.
We'll go more in depth with basketball when the season starts, or at least gets closer.
Yeah.
Our next game it's an unranked game, but it's still a big game nonetheless in terms of conference play. LSU traveling to Starkville to take on Mississippi State. Bryce, you want to lead on this one?
Yeah. Jaden Daniels did not start last week, but he did come in to finish the game because they played Southern HBCU. They're a pretty decent HBCU team. But Garrett Nussmeier, he started and he went 13 for 23, 183 passing yards with 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, which is pretty bad. But when Jaden Daniels came in, he went 10 for 11, 137 passing yards with 3 passing touchdowns and 1 rushing touchdown. But Will Rogers had a game last week, even though they didn't play a big team. He did go 39 for 49, 313 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception. But that's the product of a air raid offense that Mike Leach has at Mississippi State. For this game, for my pick, I want to pick. Dang, this is kind of hard, just because it's kind of a trap game for LSU, and
well, it can't be a trap game if it's.
It's not a trap game, but LSU. I'm pretty sure LSU has lost to Mississippi State for the past 2 years, even coming off of a national championship. I remember that being the big highlight because the next week Arkansas beat Mississippi State and won our first SEC game in like forever. But for this game, I'm going to go with Mississippi State just because the air raid, Brian Kelly has not faced that, and with a SEC type of team, I'm going to go Mississippi State because most people have Mississippi State as one of those teams to look out for to beat those big guys in the conference. So, yeah, let me take Mississippi State.
In the words of Lee Corso on College Game Day, not so fast, my friend.
Oh.
Yes, LSU is off to a slow start, and we saw that in the game against Florida State, and obviously they played FCS school last week, so we can't really balance it out. But Mississippi State hasn't done the same as well. Like they played Memphis, but they also played Arizona in Arizona. So that's not as good of a start of the season as you would think. But you also have to remember who the coaches are. You have Brian Kelly, who made the playoffs, made the national championship game, produced a whole bunch of NFL talent, versus Mike Leach, a self-proclaimed pirate. So, I think LSU is the better team here in this scenario, coming in the Starkville. I think they're going to snap that losing streak they have with Mississippi State, and I think LSU is going to come out victorious in this one.
Yeah, I actually agree with you there, Will. Death Valley is a tough place to play. As far as Mississippi State's success this year, I think you can attribute it to the third-year Mike Leach boost that he always gets. A lot of great Mike Leach moments. He's one of my favorite coaches. I mean, I could rattle off one of his post-game speeches from Texas Tech. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. Will Rogers is a great quarterback, though. I mean, they killed the Tigers in the first half and in the second half and in the whole game. LSU got unfortunate first game of the year. They played a good Southern team. They probably should have beat them by more. I think LSU kind of gets a little bit of revenge here, but I think if it's not a close LSU win, it's a Mississippi State absolute blowout.
Yeah.
So are you picking the Tigers on this one?
Yeah. I mean, I think Mississippi State's going to win, but I want the Tigers to win. Hey, I've been to Baton Rouge. It's a great place. I actually really enjoyed my time there. Okay, look, I know where my allegiances lie.
Yeah.
I gained a lot of respect for LSU after I visited there one time for an Arkansas LSU game, but I think the Bulldogs take this. I've been flip-flopping in this while I've been talking this whole time, but yeah, I'm picking Mississippi State. Final answer.
Okay. Yeah, that game is kind of hard to pick just because Brian Kelly is his first year, and Mike Leach hadn't faced that, and it's the same goes for Brian Kelly. He hadn't faced a Mike Leach offense, and I'm pretty sure that team is a seasoned team when it comes around. the play style and the playbook. So next, we're going to go with Oklahoma versus the dreadful Nebraska. It's been a sad week for Nebraska, and honestly, it's going to be.
It's been a sad 5 years for Nebraska.
Yeah, but
maybe like 10 years at this point.
Yeah, honestly,
irrelevant.
Yeah, the decade's hadn't been nice to Nebraska at all, but they did just lose their coach. This is an easy pick for me, but let me give you the facts on the quarterback matchup. So Dylan Gabriel's went 21 for 28, 296 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 passing touchdowns, my bad. And Casey Thomas went 23 for 34, 318 passing yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 rushing touchdowns. But they did lose, and they lost their coach. So.
Yeah,
this is pretty easy. I'm going Oklahoma.
I think Oklahoma is going to win by a lot. Given it is a rivalry game, so it could be closer than I anticipate. But, man, if you're not picking Oklahoma, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was surprised when I saw the line set at 11.5 for Oklahoma. Despite the fact, they are traveling to Lincoln. This is one of the best rivalries in college football. That's been taken away since Nebraska joined the Big Ten. And like you said, it's been a hard week for Nebraska fans. They saw Scott Frost leave. They were basically begging for Bo Pelini, their old coach, to come back at that point. They have the assistant Mickey Johnson coming in, taking over at least till the end of the season. Everyone's been seeing their long list of who they think is going to hire. They're all unrealistic, let's be real.
Yeah, they try to put Sam Pittman on there. Sam Pittman has stated plenty of times that he's not leaving Arkansas. He wants to retire a Razorback, and he's going to coach as long as the Razorbacks allow him. So,
I mean, they can take Bill O'Brien from me. I don't care. Yeah. Take him, please.
I still think they should take Urban Meyer. He would help that program out a lot. And no matter, I don't care what he does in his private life. As a coach, he's good. He's outstanding. Actually, college. Most college coaches aren't good NFL coaches, but he's a great college coach.
Yeah. But we're looking at 2 transfer quarterbacks. Dylan Gabriel coming from UCF, Casey Thompson coming in from Texas. But I still think Oklahoma is such a more talented team than Nebraska.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You have to remember, this is Brent Venables coming in, being the last decade, being Dabo Swinney's right-hand man.
Yeah.
And he's an Oklahoma alumni. This was his dream job. He's taking it. He's running with it. Oklahoma. He's probably going to put up 50. At this point, and Nebraska, I would be surprised if they put more than 20.
Yeah, I'm kind of scared of Oklahoma. Obviously, they're a conference rival, so we're gonna have to play them October 1st, which I'm not exactly looking forward to. I think we could make some noise really if we wanted to, but Oklahoma's a scary team, and they've always been a scary team.
Yeah, looking like quarterback U for the past 5 years.
Yeah, just about.
Baker and Kyler came out.
Yeah, and Jalen Hurts, who came second in the Heisman voting, his transfer year. So our next game, I'm gonna let Will take over for this one.
Yep, our last game we're gonna be going over this week is kind of a surprising game in terms of how close they are. Michigan State traveling to Seattle to take on Washington. Michigan State ranked 11th. Washington on the outside looking in. Both starting off 2-0. Washington actually is a 3.5-point favorite as of right now. These are
crazy.
What?
Said that's crazy. I wouldn't have thought that when I saw that on the odds sheet earlier today. I was so confused.
Yeah.
But this is a Michigan team who, as of now, their quarterback situation, Peyton Thorne, I think he's doing solid job, going 445 yards in the first 2 games. But Michael Penix Jr. I think has done better with almost 700 yards with 6 touchdowns. This is going to be a nail-biter game for 2 reasons. You have Mel Tucker, who, towards the end of last season, was a real, probably one of the best coaches in college football, and got that massive extension. On the other side of the field, you have Peter DeBoer. Got my footballs mixed up. Peter DeBoer, the former Fresno State coach coming in, taking the Washington job. And I think this game is going to be closer than, it is a 3.5 point favorite. I'm going to take Michigan State. I think defensively, that Big Ten can't touch the West Coast offense. So I'm taking this one.
I'm going to have to agree with you there on Michigan State. Obviously, Washington does have a great quarterback. I mean, I love Penix. He's a really great quarterback. But I think Michigan State's put their trust in Peyton Thorne, and I think you can really see the on-field results pay off for him. It is, a really good Big 12 team against a, kind of middle of the road as far as the Pac-12 is concerned. But I really, really don't understand why Michigan State is a dog here. I like their money line; it's really good odds, and so you'll probably see me taking them this weekend.
Yeah. For me, Michael Penix, he has been killing all year. But it's hard to go against a Michigan State team who's bought into their culture in Lansing or East Lansing just because their coach is such a good coach. And they're number 11 in the country. So I'm going to go Michigan State. I'm going to represent my dog, Jake Jorgensen.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go Michigan State for this one.
Clean sweep on the green for us,
yeah.
What I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. That's all the games we have. So hopefully it's just as entertaining Saturday as we saw last week. Thanks you to our friend JP Johnson. He also has his own college football podcast if you want to plug that in real quick.
Yeah, it's called Hands Under Center Podcast or HEC Podcast. Check us out on Twitter, and we're also on Spotify.
Yeah. Thank y'all for watching. Make sure y'all leave a comment down below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and turn the post notifications on. And I want to thank JP for coming on. It's been a few weeks that we've been trying to get you on, but yeah, we will definitely get you back on later this year for a little rants, a little betting, and thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, boys. It's been a pleasure.
No problem. All right, see y'all later.
With positive vibes.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Go Frogs.
Go Frogs. Woo pig.
Let's go.